Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Bet y'all missed seeing that Deadpool intro. It's been a while. Today, we're going to be celebrating the 6 very best comments on this channel for the week of March 16th through March 22nd. What's surprising here is 2 of the 6 best comments were from one person. Rusty, my friend, you did almost the impossible, okay? Almost the impossible. You have 2 of the comments. 2 of these are honorable mentions. I will read these back to back. Rusty Shackelford says, "It will be interesting to see if the rumors become true. You have rumors claiming that the Xbox Series X is basically the One X model and that Microsoft will be releasing a base model which is Lockhart. You also have rumors claiming the PlayStation 5 Sony will be releasing is the base, and that they plan on releasing a PlayStation 5 Pro model later on, which wouldn't surprise me since Sony hinted that possibility going forward when they announced the PlayStation 4 Pro. As of now, the Xbox Series X has significantly more power than the PlayStation 5, but it does seem as though the PlayStation 5 has some advantages. Though I'm more curious now to see if the rumors become true. Will Lockhart compare to the PlayStation 5? Will the PlayStation 5 Pro compare to the Xbox Series X? It will be interesting to see how this generation of consoles plays out. Personally, I'm set on getting the PlayStation 5. Probably not at launch, but definitely within the launch window. Plus, I'm going to be quite occupied with my PlayStation 4 due to Yakuza Remastered Collection, Neo 2, MLB The Show 20, Persona 5 Royale, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Resident Evil 3, The Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima. Hope I pronounced that right. So there is no reason to jump the gun right away unless Sony announces a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, Marvel Spider-Man, or Gran Turismo 7. I'm a single-player person, and that is where Sony does well. I may jump on the Xbox Series X at a later point when the price drops to play the next Halo and Gears 6, but it also really depends if Microsoft really utilizes all of the studios they recently acquired and releases games that appeal to me. I felt burned by Microsoft with the Xbox One, so the Series X is a wait-and-see approach." Also, from Rusty, "According to what I read on Wrestling Inc., the decision to relocate WrestleMania to the Performance Center was due to insurance purposes. Apparently, WWE has an insurance on their events that will cover all the costs in case an event is canceled. However, WWE is required to make an attempted effort in seeking an alternative location in order for the insurance to cover the event, which explains the decision to move WrestleMania to the Performance Center since Tampa officials were going to pull the plug anyway. Another rumor going around is that WrestleMania may be postponed to June. It wasn't postponed to June. And in Madison Square Garden. Not sure how I feel about this since SummerSlam is in August, which is 2 months away. Sure, SummerSlam is at least 3 months apart from Survivor Series, which is 2 months apart from the Royal Rumble, which is about 2 months apart from WrestleMania, but Survivor Series and Royal Rumble have distinct themes to them that set themselves apart, maintaining some level of interest. SummerSlam is essentially the summer version of WrestleMania. Creative is already crap as is, especially with this WrestleMania card of part-timers versus full-timers. Just imagine how much worse they can get trying to rush feuds and storylines. Also, there is uncertainty of how long this pandemic will last. Last I checked, this pandemic and many of the regulations are projected to last through the summer, so who knows if WrestleMania will be able to have a crowd by then. SummerSlam might be held at the Performance Center as well. Hell, there are rumors going around that Orlando officials may force WWE to shut down the Performance Center, therefore canceling all future events and making WWE go dark entirely. So no matter what WWE does, they are in a tough position. In my opinion, WWE should move forward and host WrestleMania. Once they finish with that, they should go completely dark for a while. Allow the talent and creative to take a break and hopefully refresh themselves. Once the pandemic dies down, they can come back, and maybe the product will be refreshing again at least for a week or two before they go back to being crap. They could even add in noise as if an actual crowd is there and dress up mannequins, which might help a bit. Next up, with the last honorable mention, we got Wolfpack 1. Oh my fucking God. Pathetic and entitled as fuck. Talking about Gerard the Completionist. 99.99% of YouTube videos don't get featured by YouTube. Like I always say, YouTube is free. So 0.03 an hour is 100% profit, even though we all know that 3 cents is bullshit. Guess what? We all play video games and don't get paid 1 red cent. So he says YouTube isn't a sustainable business. Guess what? YouTube isn't a business. It is a 100% free service. You know the saying, you have to spend money to make money? That's true when it comes to legitimate business. You don't have to spend or invest any money or any amount of time into your so-called business. That was Gerard's choice. If you can't make ends meet, then get a job. I wonder if these guys even include their monetary donations they receive from begging when they do their taxes. I have no proof, but the way these guys conduct themselves, I wouldn't put it past them. When these guys are asking for money, they should be ashamed. If you need money, the first thing they need to do is get a job, like everyone else, or if they really feel like they have a winning business model and want to stick it out, then the second thing to do is go to the bank and get a loan so you can have that cash flow while things are slow. Third is you ask your family and friends. If you feel like you have a winning business model, then they should be confident in pitching their channel to them and not just take their money as profit, but offer them an investment into the channel. These are the steps normal people take, but guess what? The bank representatives is going to laugh when you tell them that you want a loan for your YouTube videos. As your business, and as far as asking friends and family, I'm sure they don't even ask their friends and family because it's stupid, embarrassing, and a waste of money. Instead, they beg on you, YouTube, like a charity case, because they don't have to look at your face while they grovel and beg, yet still get to take money from people that don't know any better. Fuck. Once these middle-aged, entitled neckbeards get me started, I can ramble on and on. I got issues. Laugh out loud. Keep it radical. Keep speaking that truth to power. Thank you, Wolfpack 1. Now we get into the medal ceremony. The bronze medal is going to come to us from Critical Gaming. I posted a comment similar to this in the Completionist video. In that I discussed that the YouTube bubble wasn't sustainable for everyone. The Completionist is a channel that gets hundreds of thousands of views per video, and yet he has an office building and a full-on paid staff. Basically, he has put himself into a position in which he cannot support the huge overhead he has taken for literally no reason. Face facts here. He is a games reviewer, first and foremost. He don't need a full office or staff to review games. He has put himself into a position that wasn't sustainable based on the content he produces. He got too big for his britches, and now he is crying about it. Angry Joe is also in this boat. Look at all the most popular and wealthy YouTubers. PewDiePie, Jenny Marbles, Markiplier, Phil DeFranco. These guys aren't in huge offices. They aren't running huge staffs despite the fact that they probably could. They stuck to what makes them money and stuck to a format that they can sustain should YouTube income take a hit. On top of that, they diversified their revenue with streaming. I follow the Completionist on Twitch, and I also never see him streaming. Why fucking stream, dude? I'd love to watch him struggle on hard challenges to finish off a game, or chat with him while he grinds some JRPGs. People would love that, so why doesn't he take more advantage of that? Instead, you want to cry about YouTube being bad? YouTube doesn't owe you anything. You chose an unsecure profession, dummy. Adapt and overcome, or get the fuck out. Exactly. You see these YouTube videos, and maybe they don't feel that good. Maybe they don't. But it just it rings as a little hollow with the Completionist. Because here's a man that someone left a comment that didn't quite make it into comment of the week here. This man is an actor. Wrap that around your mind. He's an actor, right? Okay, a lot of these YouTubers are actually actors. I mean, they're not literal actors, but, they're actors. They put on a show. Now, they don't want to do it all the time, because if they uploaded these whining videos about, not making enough money or YouTube's not working for me, if they did it all the time, people would get tired of it. So what they do is they do it maybe a couple times a year, maybe yearly, okay? Maybe YouTube revenue takes a dip. Maybe they just want to add on to the house or do something like that. And they have figured out a good method would be to blame YouTube. Okay, YouTube is it's just not as good as it used to be. Oh man, the ad revenue is down. Oh, YouTube's against us. Oh, woe is me. Woe is me. Same song and fucking dance. But like I said, how it's different from a regular job is, and why a lot of us get so disgusted at it is many of you listening right here have typical jobs you go to. You don't get to get on the internet, log in, and start crying and start getting fucking donations, okay? You just have to be a goddamn adult. You know, maybe you get a second job. Maybe you do something else. Maybe you sell some things. You know, is Gerard going to sell some of his fucking game collection to make ends meet? No, he's not. He's going to fucking... Well, essentially, some people say it's not begging. Oh, it's not begging. He's just telling people how he feels. You know what the fuck it is, right? Okay, you know what the fuck it is. I mean, he's a games review channel, and I don't feel good. Sorry, I don't remember what the title of it is, but he's not the only one. Gerard's not the only one. They figured it out. They figured it out. I hope he can figure out how to get some, shame, possibly. Next up with the silver medal, we have Mr. GameCube. A video game museum. A video game museum has so much potential and can lure just about anybody if you do it right. Narrow-minded people see a video game museum just as a place to be able to relive and play video games of the past. Sure, that's fun, but you can do so much more. You talk about an art and comic book museum, but do you realize that video games are born from concept art? That is something that can easily be implemented into a video game museum and lure artists in a similar fashion as an art or comic book museum. You can have a space where people draw their own characters and are design it on paper and then bring it to life with some software like Sony's latest hit Dreams or something similar. In addition to art, you have a science aspect to video games. When you go to a science museum, they do a deep dive into the technology of how a train or airplane works. In a similar fashion, a video game museum can incorporate a deep dive into the hardware of video game platforms, how each component works together to deliver the video game experience many of us come to see and enjoy. That can be very educational and lure those who aspire to be a games developer or even an engineer behind video game hardware. One can even take it a step further and incorporate a space where people can build a video game museum or platform together, such as a console or PC, which will be another interactive experience aside from playing video games. Honestly, a video game museum isn't as far-fetched as some people like to think, nor could it be limited to just showing off old games or playing them. There is so much potential in a video game museum because you can really bring many factors such as art, history, science, etc. But the only people that can afford such resources are those with video game companies like Microsoft and Nintendo. Don't be narrow-minded, people, because of Hancock and his vision of a museum. After all, his vision is just a scam. I think more than anyone else, Mr. GameCube, more than anyone else that's left a comment on this channel, I think you really broke down the potential of what a video game museum really could be. I mean, I've joked, I've laughed about how stupid the idea of a video game museum is, but I'm sure a lot of people maybe laughed and joked before Behind the Music came on VH1. It's like, well, what's the concept of the show? We're just gonna, talk about going behind the music, talking about these bands. I'm like, well, what's the interest in that? Turns out it was like one of the biggest shows. I don't know if it's still going on, but it was one of the biggest shows. A lot of these shows about, well, I mean, I'm getting into shows and everything. I just wanted to, bring that up because I thought it was related, but maybe it's not. But you can do a deep dive into the history of something, just the concept art of something, just breaking down so many different details about a game that you maybe didn't know. I mean, many games are, they're digital creations, works of art, not technically works of art, like a Mona Lisa, but there's a market for getting down into the history of it, but not just like the history in like a placard or something. You talk about the deep dive into the technology, how the games work. You could have interactive displays, maybe people creating their own games on software. You said it's not limited to showing off old games or playing them. I think when most people think about a game museum, or what maybe John Hancock's idea of a game museum, which, I mean, has he even really fully fleshed it out? He just says he wants a game museum. The idea of going in somewhere and just looking at old carts or something, just going somewhere looking at old carts, looking at systems, and it not being a truly interactive experience, that's just kind of boring to a lot of people. But the way you described it in your comment, yeah, I mean, I think I would love a game museum like that. I think we all would love something like that. But you're right when you say only Microsoft or Nintendo would actually have the bank to really put forward something on that freaking scale. Thank you, Mr. GameCube. Now here it is, the moment you've all been waiting for, the spot that you all fight to get. Who got the gold medal? Well, it's none other than Arioka. I cannot feel sorry for Gerard, the completionist, who is acting like an entitled, spoiled brat, especially in times like this with so many people getting sick or dying from an unknown virus, as well as unable to go to work or live normally due to this global pandemic situation. The completionist intentionally released a "feel sorry for me" type of video now as clickbait. Allow me to explain why. The first thing that came to mind when I saw his thumbnail with the "I'm not happy" was that either him or someone he knows got infected with the virus. Yes, the timing for making this video caused my reaction, but that was done by design. His video received more views than usual, so it worked. I personally grew tired of his content a long time ago and stopped watching him, and I suspect I'm not alone. Some of these content creators' egos are so huge that they often just assume it's YouTube's algorithm that is no longer recommending them, instead of realizing their channels became stale. The audience grew up and is no longer interested, or they simply are tired of their personalities, and in Gerard's particular case, fatigued of his show's repetitive format and cringe humor. Gerard claims to be exhausted from his job to complete video games 100%. That will go nicely on his resume the day he's no longer fortunate enough to make a living from YouTube, and his fans who give him their hard-earned money via Patreon and join. By the way, the only reason Gerard brought up Patreon was to manipulate his viewers to donate more due to his sad story. He claims to have a staff of 20 people that depend on him. Sorry, but who are these morons, and what are their career aspirations? Am I supposed to believe this internet stranger everything he says just because he has more than 1 million subscribers, and that he doesn't get well paid from views/ad revenue alone? Ironically, I believe Rich from Review Tech USA, a known liar, first, who actually was saying he was going to lose weight and actually did it, unlike Gerard, who was posting videos showing him exercising with a personal trainer, but that was also just clickbait for views. Gerard wanted to be an actor and work in Hollywood and failed at the time, so he decided to be a full-time unemployed YouTuber instead. Maybe now is the time for him to start investing in his real dreams/goals and become an actor. If he's so stressed and doesn't want to be the boss anymore in his make-believe YouTube business, he can work full-time as an employee for a real company or become a freelance independent contractor. A lot of great points there. Review Tech USA, for all I say about him, for all the criticisms, and believe me, there's a lot to criticize. Coming up, there might be some more criticize on his video, his take on beat 'em ups, which I haven't seen yet. One thing I have to give him props for is the fact that he lost some weight. He's still big, still a big boy, but he ain't huge, right? Not huge. So he stuck to it. He actually lost some weight. Gerard, I don't keep track of like how big he is, but he seems to be bigger than Review Tech USA right now. Maybe the beard hides some of the chins, I'm not sure. Some people are happy being big. Seemed like he wanted to work and lose some weight, and that didn't work out. Someone left a comment, well, don't believe Gerard. He's not missing any meals. He's doing just fine on YouTube. I think it was an extension, not that he wasn't doing fine, but he can't make enough money on YouTube to pay his staff of 20 people. Like that's just hinting at people, hey, I need some more support on Patreon to pay these other people. to pay these, so he's like using them. He's putting them in front of him like, it's not me. It's not me. It's my 20 kids here on the YouTube channel. Okay, I got mouths to feed. Come on now. So you talk about career aspirations and everything. Yeah. Like I said before, it's just silly. I don't know. YouTubers with full staffs. Hey, bless them. Bless anybody that got to that point on YouTube. But the minute you start fucking begging your audience is when people like me come in to criticize you. Because it's silly. It's stupid. Like the other commenter said, just, go get a job. Do some other things, right? Now, one thing you bring up in this comment that's really interesting is the timing for his upload. And how you thought, which I can't say it's the case, but you thought his upload was timed for a certain reason. And one reason it got a lot of views is he said that he's not happy. Some people might have thought that he caught the virus. Now, I can't verify that. I can't say that that's true or not. I can't. I'm not going to, right? There's no way of knowing that. But maybe possibly a lot of people clicked on that, like yourself, thinking that maybe something happened. Maybe something serious happened. It's not a serious thing. Gerard, okay? Beat 'em ups, who uploaded a video really, really sad that Nintendo dropped him, yet they're still giving him games, so I don't really know what a lot he has to complain about. Like, you motherfuckers with 1 million subscribers making ungodly amounts of ad revenue, and bless you for your ad revenue, but trying to dip into the fucking pockets of people watching your YouTube hobby videos. That, I think, is a step too far, people. I think that's a step too fucking far, right? I think I'll just leave it there because you know how I can get when I get angry about these fucking e-beggars, right? And by the way, Gerard, feel free to come by and, engage in our open comment section, right?